The space is finally waking up to just how undervalued QNT actually is. And this is something that I'm very, very excited about. Now, I'm sure that by now you guys already know the news, right? The confirmation that, Quant is working with the ECB, the European Central Bank, on the digital euro. We're going to talk about that. We're going to break it down. But first, I just want to really talk about, QNT right now, because it is up almost 10% on the one day. Now, by the time that this video does go live, the Fed announcement will be already commencing, and I'm sure that price action is going to be affected by it. But it's more so, I want you guys to understand the opportunity right in front of us. Like QNT right now has a fully diluted value. I go off of the fully diluted value because the supply has not been updated on CoinMarketCap, even though that the supply is already out there. But the supply is 14.88 million. That is 33% less than Bitcoin. And what's crazy about that is that Quant does have, 1,000 times the utility that Bitcoin will ever have. And the fully diluted value here is $1.33 billion. Just for reference, XRP, okay, has a fully diluted value of 214 billion. We'll just go off the market cap, right? $125 billion. That means that XRP has almost a 100x, 100 times more market cap than QNT. A 100x from today's prices would be almost a $9,000 QNT. Now, do I think that this will happen? Yes, I do think so. Is it going to happen this cycle? No, I don't think so. But over time, I do think that technologies like Quant are going to become vital, and they're going to become the pillars in which the new financial system that is happening now will be built on. And this is where I do think that QNT not just completely overshadows Bitcoin, but it will be bigger than Bitcoin in my opinion. And it's not just because of the supply metric, it's because of the utility metric, the supply and demand metric of Quant. Now, when we think about this, we look at what the ECB did announce. So this was the big update, which was new. The European Central Bank plans to partner with private sector to develop a digital euro. In a press release, the ECB claimed that findings will be shared in report later this year. I look forward to that report. It's going to be very exciting to see it. But what's interesting is, back in March, we did get a big update from the ECB. This is Christine Lagarde, the ECB president. And she's stating that the EU is planning to launch a digital euro CBDC by October of this year. Now, she did recently update this, by the way, and she said it does, the date in which this does launch is determined by, regulators and those that are actually, tied back to this. So it could definitely be delayed. It could be pushed forward a little bit. But the big thing here is that the EU is ready, right? The ECB is ready to push a central bank digital currency. They're ready to go all in on the digital side of money. And this is where we actually look at the specific players like Quant that could easily be tapped in here to enable this. But check this out.
On your second point, I tend to share your views. Nature doesn't like vacuum. And we started working on the digital euro way back, actually when I started my term 5.5 years ago. And I'm not claiming, parentality on the digital euro, because my colleague Benoît Cœuré had already committed a speech on this matter before I arrived. But I certainly carried on with that project, and subsequently Fabio Panetta on the board, and then Piero Cipollone, who has replaced Fabio, have taken the lead together with a very, very good team, which is focused on accelerating the pace and hopefully campaigning enough with all the stakeholders, meaning European Parliament, meaning European Council, meaning European Commission, so that we can eventually, not put to bed, but put to reality this digital euro. The deadline for us is going to be October of 25, and we are getting ready for that deadline, but we will not be able to move unless the other parties, the stakeholders, as I call them, Commission, Council, and Parliament, actually complete the legislative process, without which we will not be able to move. And I think it is critically important, and it seems to the agnostic or the skeptics, it seems to be more relevant and more of an imperative now than ever before, both on the wholesale and on the retail level, both.
And of course, towards the end of that video, she did outline exactly what I was mentioning, that, you know, they need to be aligned perfectly here for this to fully launch, which is why it could take a little bit more time than, you know, expected by the state. But one thing is very clear. They are pushing this. They are getting ready for a full push on this, which is exactly why we are getting this big update from the European Central Bank, which is around 70 market participants, including merchants, fintech companies, startups, banks, and other payment service providers, have joined the digital euro innovation platform to explore creative ways to pay with the digital euro. Now, when we are thinking about this, I'm sure that everyone's going to instantly think, well, isn't Ripple a part of this? Isn't Hedera a part of this? No, they're not. If we actually look at this, we have the ECB partners with private sector through digital euro innovation platform. The ECB establishes an innovation platform with around 70 market participants on new platform. Participants to test digital euro payment functionalities and explore innovative use cases. Findings to be shared in report later this year. Now, when we actually look at this, we have the innovation platform simulates the envisaged digital euro system, in which the ECB provides a technical support infrastructure for European intermediaries to develop innovative digital payment features and services at European level. The Pioneers workstream is investigating how conditional payments in digital euro, i.e. transactions that are made automatically when predefined conditions are met, such as the delivery of a package bought online, could be implemented from a technical standpoint. It is also developing potential use cases for day-to-day payments. Now, we also have down here that Pioneers will be exploring how to integrate the simulated digital euro interfaces with their platforms. The ECB is providing participants with technical support and specifications such as the application programming interface, the APIs. So this is exactly where we actually look at Quant, because APIs are plug and played with Overledger as well, to conduct independent work on use cases of their choice. Pioneers will summarize their findings in a report, which the ECB will review thoroughly to inform its work on the digital euro project. The Visionaries workstream is conducting research on new digital euro use cases and how they could help address societal challenges such as digital financial inclusion. For instance, the ability to open a digital euro wallet in any post office could guarantee free access to digital euro services, even for people without a bank account or access to digital devices. Now, we also have some quotes down here, which is, "We welcome the huge amount of interest that market participants have shown in this exciting initiative. The breadth and creativity of the proposals highlights the digital euro's potential as a catalyst for financial innovation in Europe, including the development of new solutions that further enhance the payment experience for Europeans and create market opportunities." Now, within the actual full breakdown here, we have all of the names tied to this. Now, like I said, Hedera's not tied to this, Ripple's not tied to this, but we do have Quant being tied to this, as you guys can see right here. Quant Network Europe Limited, which is very significant. Listen, this is a huge confirmation that Quant is a part of this big initiative. Now, one thing that I will say is companies like Tata Consultancy Services, like this is a company that is tied back to Hedera. I'm sure that you could go through this list and say, all right, well, you know, this company is working with this player from this space, and you know that means that they're going to be tapped in. It's very easy to say that, but you know, unless they're actually fully named here, I wouldn't really say that it's significant. So Quant being named on here is a very, very big confirmation that Quant is working with the ECB on the digital euro. Now, on top of that, we actually have over here on Monday, May 5th, the European Central Bank announced that Quant has been selected to work on the ECB's digital euro project as a pioneer partner. In November of 2023, the ECB began laying the foundations for the issuance of a digital euro. Fast forward to today, the project is entering a new phase which focuses on creating an innovation platform to collaborate and actually test new use cases with various stakeholders across the ecosystem. Now, We also have over here, which I find very interesting, from Gilbert Verdian, who's the CEO of Quant Network, programmable pounds, euros, and dollars next. Because also Quant is not just working on the digital euro, they're also working on the digital pound, which we'll talk about here in a second. But let's dive on into the backing behind this announcement and how Quant is actually being utilized within this digital euro project. So we have here the full breakdown, which I've already talked about. We also have a quote from Gilbert Verdian himself. We have the expertise and experience to deliver a programmable payment use case as part of the ECB's wider vision for a digital euro. And we do have down here that we are honored to have been selected, and as leaders in DLT, programmability, and interoperability, we have the technical expertise, strategic insight, and extensive institutional experience to deliver a programmable payment use case as part of the ECB's wider vision for a digital euro. Over the last 5 years, we have built a strong portfolio of deep industry expertise in secure payments infrastructure, orchestration, and interoperability of DLT and non-DLT payment rails, settlement of all forms of money, including tokenized money, commercial bank deposits and settlement systems, and distributed, centralized, and unified ledger models, all of which were utilized in the successful delivery of the projects, including the UK's regulated liability network and the BIS and the Bank of England's Project Rosalind retail CBDC, which is the digital pound. These initiatives highlight our ability to deliver innovative, secure, and compliant technology that supports fiat and digital payments for central and commercial banking institutions, both nationally and cross-border. Quant's pioneer role will focus on embedding our programmability capabilities, testing conditional payments with the ECB, and embedding programmability at the wallet layer. Using our existing programmable payments technology linked to the ECB's digital euro service platform, we will enable conditional payments in the digital euro in a P2P marketplace use case. This is very exciting to see. We have, as part of this, we will implement our multi-party lock technology, demonstrating how we can enable secure transactions by pre-authorizing and locking funds until specific conditions, such as delivery of goods in this case, are met. Once verified, payments can then be seamlessly transferred, ensuring smooth and risk-mitigated transaction flows. We're delighted to be part of such a visionary project that leverages our patent technology and tried and tested capabilities to showcase how the digital euro can enable seamless and secure P2P transactions in real-world scenarios. I look forward to witnessing how our contribution enables the financial infrastructure of the future, benefiting entire markets, businesses, and consumers with new programmable digital money. Guys, this is a big deal. It's a big deal. And just like I said, Quant's been a part of, very large, ecosystems. And they've been a part of huge associations, like, for example, the Digital Pound Foundation, right? And on the Digital Pound Foundation's website, you have so many things just around Quant themselves. And what's crazy about this is we already know that Quant has been working with some of the very prominent names from this space as well, like Ripple, on some of these foundations. And the Digital Pound Foundation itself, even though it's a think tank organization, it's partnered up with the Digital Euro Association, which is also spearheaded by members like Ripple, for example, and even the HBRO Foundation. And all of these players are working together. So when we think about Quant being selected here and the list not having, like, for example, Ripple or even Hedera on here, I want you guys to understand what Quant is enabling. Okay, Quant is enabling this future to become a reality. This is that future. This was an old image of the Overledger network from Quant, but this is the operating system of the future, where every single blockchain could be tapped in, every single API could be tapped in. This connects to everything. The traditional financial system, it connects to, payment APIs like PayPal or Venmo or Cash App, things like that. And this is exactly how I imagine this entire space being plug and played. When we think about plug and play technology from the DLT side, Quant is that enabler of that, because the Overledger operating system, right, could easily be plug and played within the Bank of England, for an example, the ECB, which it's happening, right? We already know, because Quant is now selected as a pioneer partner in the ECB's digital euro project. They've also been selected around the UK's regulated liability network, and also the UK's BIS and Bank of England's Project Rosalind, which is a retail CBDC. And what's crazy about that is, even if you go to Quant's website, you could see trusted by central banks and global financial institutions. We've worked on the digital pound, digital euro, and the UK RLN. UK Finance, BIS, you have the ECB here and the Bank of England. Guys, Quant is an absolute giant in disguise. It's probably one of the biggest sleeping giants in this space. When you zoom out on this chart, this is just one massive line of, consolidation waiting for a big expansion to the upside. I do think that QNT will be and is one of the largest opportunities that we have in this space currently. And I think over time, we're going to continue to look back on this chart and we're going to say, yeah, that was one massive opportunity that we had. And a lot of people are going to regret not, taking advantage of the time that we had to accumulate QNT sub $100. Because I do say anything under $100, it's a steal. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.